Hey guys, it's another Friday night here, and Joey G's audio channel. Lots to talk about tonight. Not so much on the jaded topic. There's going to be a jaded video thing, just like I promised last week about vinyl versus digital, and it's an age-old battle. But that's the other video. Tonight, it's going to be all about open baffle loudspeakers. So this monstrosity that you guys see in front of you is, and I know some of you guys were asking me about, curious about the open baffle journey. This is my first time doing it, and quite honestly, I've been doing this audio thing since I was a teenager in the 80s, and I always did my own DIY speakers. Even when I didn't know what I was doing, I still always did DIY speakers since high school. Because to me, my arrogance, my ignorance, speakers are easy. Just take some drivers, stick them in a box, put a hole in the box to make the bass go bigger, seal the box if you want it a little tighter, and it's done. Calculate a crossover, and you're good to go. If only it were that easy. Thing is, though, I needed a pair of speakers, and I got a lot of drivers laying around in boxes. So I thought, okay, between stripping the parts out of the kefs and my arsenal of drivers that I've collected in the last few years, let's see what this open baffle stuff is all about. I know Ron is gaga all over it. Danny Ritchie has some excellent systems. I've heard Danny Ritchie's stuff over at Ron's place, and just brilliant. And so anyways, I started off last weekend with this panel and an old Rockford Fosgate 10-inch subwoofer on the bottom. Two friends of mine from the audio club, Craig and Mark, went over to Craig's place last Monday. Mark brought over his DAT tool, and he ran an impedance sweep and measured the FTS of the car subs, and it was lousy. He said for open baffle you have to have a minimum of 0.7 to 0.8. If you can get drivers over 1.0, you'll be a lot better off. And these guys have been doing DIY speakers a lot more seriously than I ever did in the last 37 years. I've never measured anything, any of my homebrews, and I'm going to make sure I put pictures of my past successes and failures embedded within the video. Here, it's just so I thought, okay, I need a pair of speakers, I need something to listen to. Let's see what this open baffle thing is all about, and I don't want to spend a ton of money. I'm not trying to be Randy, the cheap audio man here. I'm trying to be Joey G, the cheap DIY guy. And so, I did the usual, scoured the internet, and I said, okay, when I went over to Craig's place on Monday, he's got open baffle subs that he built years ago, beautiful. Eminence, I don't know if they're 12-inch or 15-inch drivers, but there's a gentleman on the web, all you got to do is Google him, Martin King. He's like the guru of open baffle subwoofers. And so what I'm going to be attempting this weekend, and I've got the wood pretty much all cut up, I got to make another Home Depot run tomorrow, is it's going to be an H-frame sub down from here down. And I know what a lot of you are thinking, that skinny piece of wood, how the hell is that going to support anything? Well, I'm going to bolt the two woofers together, and then put washers and gasket sealant all around, so there won't be any quote-unquote air leaks. Even though it's an open baffle, it's air leaking everywhere. And again, like I mentioned in the last video, I looked at everything on YouTube, read a lot of articles, and what it came down to was I wanted mirror imaged planar tweeters. I've got 3 of these Dynavox drivers that I bought from Parts Express, and you're basically looking at $90 for the 3 drivers, $30 for the GRS tweeter, and then tomorrow it should be coming in the mail 4 GRS 12-inch 8-ohm woofers with a QTS of 1.26 based on the data sheet. I know I can get Mark to measure that to see if it's real, but Parts Express and the manufacturer, when they publish what they publish, and it's usually pretty dead on. So those are coming in tomorrow. So I'm hopefully going to have all this H-frame done, and hopefully I'll be able to get some noise out of these things tomorrow night. And I'm also, Parts Express did approve the RMA, so I'm getting the other Class D amp back next week. But at least if I can get the 2 panels and the H-frames all done up, you know, I spent all this week, though, even though I knew that the subwoofer was a failure with those Fostex car subs, I at least tried to voice as best as I could with the MiniDSP, and I will put my temporary curves up just for, you know, starters. And what I decided on was, Craig suggested that I do this as a series parallel, right? So basically you've got 3 8-ohm woofers. These 2 in parallel are 4. This 8-ohm in series, this 8-ohm in series with the 4-ohm. I screwed that up, but anyways, I've got 8 ohms going in to the amplifier. So it's a series parallel setup here. Tweeter is on its own. I think it's 6 ohms. I got to check the GRS specs. And I really, really liked what I heard. You know, it was very open, very detailed. Obviously, bass was non-existent, you know, because you couldn't really do much. But with MiniDSP, it's amazing. From my sweet spot on the new couch, I can dial in the crossover the way I want. And as I mentioned last week, I'm modeling the crossover using MiniDSP and my ears, right? Mark's going to take some measurements once everything's said and done. I'll probably bring him over here to do that in room here. We'll publish that stuff later, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is. It's, again, I'm new to this open baffle stuff, and I had to try it because I just did not feel like going through the grief of another pair of boxes with speakers stuck in it and a couple of holes to extend the bass. Was not in the mood to do it. And my woodworking skills suck anyways, but they always did. So getting back to it, what I wound up doing was I did a bandpass filter that extends from 100 hertz to 2500 hertz, which then crosses over to this guy. And I picked, in the MiniDSP software, I picked Linkwitz-Riley second order. Same thing on the tweeter. So tweeter goes 2500 hertz on up. And the woofers here will be crossed over at around 250 hertz. Because even though I dialed this in down to 100, I mean, these things are rated for 50 hertz FS, I believe, in free air. So I ran some sweeps, I ran some test tones. Of course, everything starts to attenuate, you know, after that 100 hertz point. So again, I'm going to play with it. I'll probably be adjusting it again, but the whole idea here is dial the crossover using MiniDSP. Once I got the sound that I like, then I'll look at my inventory of Solon caps, Sonic caps. I got some copper, flat copper inductors kicking around that I've had for 27 years at least. And of course I've got some iron core inductors and, you know, air core inductors and things like that. So if I can cobble together the crossover with the parts I have in-house without having to really spend any money into it, and that also goes for the L-pad between the tweeter and the mid-woofers here. The beauty with MiniDSP is I was able to decrease the tweeter 6 dB and got a nice to my ears response. And I was measuring everything, I was listening to everything in mono, directly on axis, right in front of me, maybe six to 7 feet away from the speakers. So I wasn't really caring about bass. I just wanted to hear what the details in the music was. And I was very impressed. I mean, I never really thought much of Open Baffle before, and but I didn't want to go crazy with, you know, overpriced Eminence drivers, you know, or overpriced, you know, what's the other, Goldwood. Goldwood used to be dirt cheap, you know, bottom of the barrel stuff. Now that crap's gone up. So GRS, they've done knockoff drivers for everybody and their brother, from the Bose 901 4.5 inch drivers. They've got some beautiful knockoffs that people have had success with replacing drivers, you know, in their 901s if they don't want to replace the surrounds or, you know, whatever. And so with Parts Express, you buy 4 of anything and up, they give you a discount. So, and anything over $100 is free shipping. So between the binding posts and $22 a pop for each of the 12-inch woofers, my bill came out to $116 altogether. And wood-wise, this is stuff left over from a project, like I mentioned last week, that my son and I did in the office, building some bench/desks. So this was material that was left over, which coincidentally, 17 inches wide, and I believe the height is 42 and a quarter or 42 and a half inches high. So basically, the tweeter is at ear level when I'm sitting on my sofa. And yeah, I'm excited because I've never done this before, you know, and I've got to clean up my room. I got to get a lot of this crap out of the way. My wife's finishing the coffee table outside, so that's why, you know, of course, she's not too happy about me doing my assembly here, but at least I didn't cut the wood up in here. You got to give me that. And yeah, guys, that's my Open Baffle journey. You know, maybe that's what I'll title this, as Joey G's Open Baffle journey. And that's it, guys. You know, like I said, it's only speakers, man. You know, how hard could it be, right? Yeah. All right, guys. Bye for now. Thanks again for watching. See you in the next video.